Game day in Washington at the Verizon Center. Paul Jones and Sherman Hamilton. It's back to work for both teams, the Raptors and the Wizards tonight. And Sherm, 5 guys that were involved in All-Star Weekend when you think about Terrence Ross, Jonas Valanciunas, DeMar DeRozan. And then on the other side, John Wall in the game and Bradley Beal in the three-point contest. A lot of young flavor coming back. And both of these teams was something to play for after the All-Star break.
Absolutely, and for both teams, that's a great experience for these young guys to be around some veteran guys, some future Hall of Famers, guys who have won a lot in this league, champions. I think you absorb a lot of that information, and having a chance to chat with these guys and just sit down and get a few minutes to talk about life outside of basketball, that only helps the maturity process for a young group like these guys playing in this game. Having said that, young guys have to figure out how to focus now, get back to the task at hand, because now is when the real season begins. Yes. So the next 30 games or so for both of these teams are so important, and let's see how these young guys adjust to that, coming off that high of an All-Star break and figuring out how to settle it down and get back to business.
Sure, we always talk about the 5 levels of intensity: preseason, regular season, post-All-Star break. That's where we are, number 3, playoffs and finals. And it was interesting to hear DeMar DeRozan say, talk about what he learned from some of the All-Stars, some of the great players and the leaders. And he spoke to the team today about that, the last 30 games. He said, we're so close, but yet we're so far. We're in the 3rd spot, but we're still 30 games from the end of the year. And it's interesting to look at the mindset and the maturity of DeMar as he grows, the fact that they haven't played a game yet after the All-Star break, but he's already talking to the team about moving forward.
Yeah, you know, a couple of seasons ago in preseason, I had a chance to do an interview with DeMar, and one thing he talked about was he's been here during the losing. He wants to be the guy who brings his team to winning, and we're seeing that come to the forefront now. We're seeing his leadership. He's taken his game to another level, first-time All-Star, and that conversation he had today with his teammates about, hey, this is the way we got to get it done. Yes. That, to me, shows me that he's serious about his job. He's serious about what he needs to do for the franchise, that he understands that this process happens with him as a leader as well. To me, that's huge for the Raptors. You need a leader. You need a guy who's going to pull this thing along and say, hey, guys, we've got to get down to business. You need that one guy, and I think DeMar stepped into that role, and the fact that they're winning, the fact that they have a chance to make the playoffs, and for DeMar, he would be the guy leading the charge. I think that's so important for this group.
Amir Johnson described the chatter or the tenor of DeMar's remarks as very businesslike. Yeah. The Wizards have some business too, Sherm. We had a chance to talk to Bradley Beal, had a chance to talk to John Wall. They're in that same boat like DeMar DeRozan. Young players trying to lead their teams, hopefully headed for the playoffs, looking for a good seed. They've already lost to Toronto twice. They talked about how they've watched video. Toronto got everything they wanted. I think from listening to them, it's going to be a different game tonight.
I think these young guys understand that they can be the game changers for their team. And I think when they looked at that game tape, you heard John Wall kind of talk about the fact that they weren't playing the way they needed to play. Toronto got to do what they wanted to do. So they're going to make some changes. But having said that, I mean, hearing Bradley Beal talk, hearing John Wall talk, the future is bright in the backcourt for Washington. I really love their demeanor. I love their maturity. Their skill sets are phenomenal. Yeah. The fact that they're getting recognition as one of the best backcourts in the league, and they're so young. It's just the winning's going to come eventually for this group, and I think for these two guys, for John Wall especially, health is a major factor. If he can stay healthy, there's no reason why this team can't be a perennial playoff team. But I think this game tonight for this team, it means a lot. They talk about the tiebreaker. They understand the value of what it means to send a message to a potential first-round matchup in the playoffs. So it's going to be a dogfight. This is the kind of game I think the Raptors need, and this is the kind of game I think Washington needs to really get the competitive juices going.
You can see that game tonight, TSN 2 starting at 7, on TSN 1050 radio at 7. We get you going with Game Day starting at 6:30 right here on NBA TV Canada.